Hey, and welcome to Go WCUS, episode lucky number 13. This is our final episode. Work camp is coming right around, so it's been a very fun 13 episodes. But let's start. Let's start with the hashtag. The hashtag is hashtag Go WCUS. So if there's any last things you want to ask us, do it right now because we have no further episodes after this. So get on Twitter and ask us right now. We are monitoring, and this is a live show. But let's go ahead and start with intros. We'll start right on the left with Dustin.
Hey there, Dustin Mesa. I'm here in Nashville. I'm the lead organizer for WordCamp US, and I work for WP Engine.
Laura.
I am Laura Byrne-Cristiano. I'm the head of the marketing team for WordCamp US this year. Freelance marketing, SEO, stuff like that.
Awesome. And I'm Steve Zengit. I am the founder of Zeek Interactive. I run the OC WordPress meetup out here on the West Coast. And I'm also the lead organizer for WordCamp OC, and I'm on the sponsorship team for WordCamp US this year. So WordCamp US is 2 weeks from today. So this will be our final episode. Next week is Thanksgiving, so we're taking that off. We will be spending time with our families. And then we go to WordCamp US, which starts 2 weeks from today on Friday, December 1st. So that's going to be awesome. We can't wait. There's been a lot of prep work that has gone into this. I've got my list of stuff that we to cover here every week, but we've covered it all. Sponsorships are sold out. So if you want to sponsor, we'll see in 2018.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. Tickets are still on sale. There are still some tickets available.
Yeah, tickets on sale still, and our live stream. So if for some reason you cannot physically get to Nashville, our live stream tickets posted just late last night. They're up and running, so you can catch every single room has a different feed, and they're all closed captions. So if anybody's hearing impaired and needs that kind of thing too, we all got that going, and that'll carry over not only live on site but also on the live stream. So yeah, good deal.
So I have to tell you that I do 2 podcasts every Friday. I do Water Cooler, and then I do this. I was just on the Water Cooler. Say Reed is planning on coming to WordCamp US, but she has not bought a ticket yet. So do not be like Say. Grab a ticket and grab it now. And I'm sorry, and we announced it last week. But you can still get a ticket, but you are taking a gamble as far as your T-shirt size goes. So
that's right. And your badge won't have your name.
Yeah, which you'll still get one, but you might have to write it in with a Sharpie rather than it being personalized.
So there you go. Schedule? Does the schedule ever get posted?
The schedule's there. Yeah,
the schedule is there. Woohoo! Yep, schedule is up and running. Folks are there. You can check out who's talking, what they're talking on, what day. Yeah, absolutely, it's up and running.
And so I have the schedule up in front of me, as do I think the two of you. And today's topic is last minute tips for what to do at WordCamp. So let's talk about that.
So, I've been to 2 WordCamp US's, both in Philly. And one of my favorite things to do was to find some locals and just talk to them a little bit about the city. I was really happy. Last year I was, had the pleasure of knowing Alex Block, who was the lead organizer last year. And so while he, wasn't putting out a fire, which was very rarely, I would talk to him about the different places around there and kind of what to do. And that was really cool. So I'd say find a local and just, see what they like to do.
Yeah, and we've got that Slack channel. You can find, if you don't know a local, go find one in the Slack channel. That's right. A real good way to do it, to be real honest. And they're super happy to help out.
Or just watch all 12 episodes of Go WCUS, because we've given a lot of information out about Nashville.
Yeah, I'm gonna basically have the link with me to the YouTube page and just hand it out like little take ones. So people who are like, man, what's cool here? Oh, here you go. Just watch.
There you go. Let's go. Watch us. Right there.
See, I'm really just gonna shadow Dustin because he's my local Nashville resource. Nice. So he'll take me to all the good restaurants.
That's right.
One of the things I like to do, and we talked about it last week, is the hallway track, right? So I go and any WordCamp I go to, I will sit in some sessions, a few sessions, but I spend a lot of my time networking and at the hallway track and just sharing ideas with people. That's why I go to WordCamps.
Yeah, yeah, agreeing with you. I love the hallway track. There's always something new and exciting to find out there in the hallway track. The other thing I do too, and I think I find out this a little bit just because I'm usually been assigned to like live tweet a convention, and a lot of times I'll get assigned a room that like I know nothing about. Like it's not in anything I do, but usually I go in thinking I am not going to understand any of this, and sometimes I only understand half of it. But there's always cool stuff that I was like, you know what? If I hadn't just taken a chance and gone into this room that I didn't know I thought it was going to be over my head. I learned some cool stuff that not all of it was over my head. So I totally recommend people do that. Go see at least one session that is not in your wheelhouse, and you will definitely learn something cool, see something different.
Learn by osmosis.
That's right. It's so true. You go into one that kind of, hey, you might not get the details, but like if you just start to understand that headless WordPress is a thing, and here are some times when you could use it, right? That's how I was with multi-site. I was like so scared of multi-site. What is it? What does it do? And then I sat in on a talk, and while there were a lot of like best practices for using multi-sites, there was also when to use multi-site and when not to. And that was really helpful. That gave me a really good understanding of like, oh, this is a horrible project for multi-site, or this is literally why multi-site was built.
Right.
So there's a lot of really great sessions at WordCamp US, and in no way are we telling you what to go to and what not to go to, but there's a couple that I want to call out that I'm looking forward to. And these are people that I know. These are people that I know I've seen speak before, but I can't hear them speak enough. And so just looking at the schedule, a couple of ones that I'm looking forward to are Mark Benzicane. Right, Mark Benzicane speaking on Fit, Happy, and 50, and I know he's gone through a transformation recently, so I'm looking forward to hearing his story. If you can, if you have room in your schedule to go see her, go see Tracy Levesky. I know I'm butchering her name. I do it every time.
But you're good. You're good. She'll forgive you.
Yeah, she's speaking about diversity, and I saw her speak about that in San Diego, and that was a fantastic session. And so there's a lot you can learn from her. And on Saturday, I'm looking forward to just seeing George Stefanis speak. He's talking about the WordPress of things, kind of marrying WordPress and IoT, and that should be really interesting. And again, and not that I'm not going to go see other sessions, but those are three that I was specifically looking forward to.
George is a good
I love
one.
George because when George isn't speaking, George is constantly tinkering with something,
and
he's figuring out how I can make this interactive, how I can interface this with I last saw George doing that at WordCamp DC, and he's just if you see George, just ask him what he's building. That is for a fascinating conversation right there.
Now, there's no if because you cannot miss George.
I was just about to say it. Yeah, he just above the crowd.
Yes. And any other sessions worth calling out here?
Yeah, so I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I work remote every day here from my house in Nashville. WP Engine's headquartered in Austin, Texas, and so I've been working remote now for 2 years, and that has really changed a lot about me and how I operate and things. And that was a really big transformation. I'd never worked remote before. Steve, you know me, I'm a very social guy. I like to be around people. I have 2 different teams that I oversee at WP Engine. So like to not be around my teams was very interesting. So there's a talk called How Working Remote Saved My Life by Aaron Douglas. And I just think it's really interesting. Previous to 2 years ago, I never really would have thought I ever would have worked remote because I know who I am. And so I really wish I would have gone to one of those and just kind of had an understanding. I really had to learn a lot of things for the first time, probably reinvent the wheel, and I didn't need to. So yeah.
There's actually a second remote talk called Remote Control, establishing accountability and shared expectations in a distributed environment. And accountability to me is the key word when you're talking about a remote employee. Sure. So that should be a good talk.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Zandy and Elizabeth Urello, I think, are the ones leading that. Yeah. And they have a remote team. I think it's like 20 people that they deal with. So that's
nice.
Cool. Yeah, both those talks should be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. For me, I'm really looking for. I had 2 that I thought were really interesting. One, we were talking about, how you go to something that maybe wasn't originally in your comfort zone. I first saw her 2 years ago at WordCamp US, WordCamp Europe, which is Rianne Reitveld. And she has a whole accessibility talk, and I thought, oh, what is there to know on accessibility? Oh, foolish me. She made it so clear and so obvious why you can make your website more accessible and why it's the right thing to do and how to do it. Like, and there were all like different things she was saying, things that drive screen readers crazy, things that generation of Gen X and baby boomers that are getting older that are going to need screen readers or devices to access the web. And I thought, wow, she's just so clear, so convincing, and brings up things that you never even thought about in your life. So I
believe that.
totally
am
interested in that.
Anytime I watch my dad navigate the computer, I always kind of learn a little something about accessibility. He is a baby boomer.
And there's the one more speaker I need to call out just because he's an OC guy and a core contributor, but that's Mike Schroeder, right? Mike Shredder, who, as we call him here in OC, always gives a really good talk. So,
cool.
I like that.
Yeah. The other one that actually two that stood out to me. One was just Meg Delagrange, who I read her story and I just went, this is fascinating. I just want to go in there and sit. The title of her talk was I started telling the world I was born Amish, which is true. She was born Amish, and she now has her own e-commerce site built on WordPress. She and her partner sell leather goods, and it's these two women and their website. We were just talking before we started about going viral. Their website got a shout out from a major news network, and their site stats went through the roof. They went viral yesterday, and I'm like, darn, now the product I was going to buy isn't going to be available. But I'm really fascinated to hear her story and how she built it all with WordPress. That one looked really cool to me. And then the other one is the person who won the Kim Parcell Scholarship.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, name is Bianca Wells, and she's going to be giving a talk about how WordPress developers worked with the Jamaican deaf community to make sign language more accessible for those in Jamaica. That's fascinating. Again, I guess it ties into accessibility. I'm really curious to see how that works, and that's just like an awesome outreach from the WordPress community to be able to do something like that. I think that's fascinating.
And there's a lot of names on the schedule that I don't recognize, and so that's going to be interesting. Just kind of wandering into some of these rooms and seeing some of these people speak, and I think that really speaks to the selection process that we go through, and how we pick these speakers, because we did choose these speakers, at least in the first round, on just what they wrote, right, and the ideas they had to speak about. So that's that's what makes this whole process very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. One that I'm excited about, I'm going to try and see if somehow I can rip off and go and sit in. As a new father, I had a daughter 7 days ago.
What?
Yeah.
And where would that 7-day-old infant be, Dustin?
Good news. She was right there in that little studio.
Oh my God, she's gone.
Yeah, it's kind of left.
Oh my God.
Came and got her like a responsible parent. I don't have to keep looking at her anymore, but I'm really excited. As you two have children. I will have brand new children growing up in obviously the most digital age we've ever been in. And so I'm excited about looking at Sandy Edwards' talk, which is Kids in Code, the facts in the future. Because if I know anything, I'm going to make sure my daughter plays golf to get a golf scholarship for free. And she knows how to code, so she has a job for life.
Yeah. Well,
and I think Jonathan Finley has a similar talk too about kids and stuff too. So there's two good talks on that, which I think, and two takes on that topic, which is nice. I think, which is kind of interesting too, because like for you, Dustin, I'm presuming like you don't remember society without a computer.
No. Like even in kindergarten, we had an Apple IIe lab. So, I mean, they're computers barely, but yeah, very shortly after that, we got an iMac lab. And so, yes, basic computers have been in my life since I was in school.
My kids don't know what a CD is.
Me and my wife were just talking today about what will we talk about when Parker is 16. And she's like, what the hell is that? And we were saying CDs, DVDs, like
pretty much everything.
I know, right?
Just assume everything.
Yeah.
Well, here's what's cool. Here's what's cool about those talks, and I actually looked at those talks as well. Is my kids are my younger kids are 14, 9, and 7. Right, they're taking code in school. They've got a program called Hour of Code. Right, so each of them has code classes in school already,
So cool.
which it's just going to be part of their lives.
Yeah.
Growing up. So
Can you
that's
imagine,
very
like,
cool.
we solve our own problems like with a hammer and a nail, like around the house. They're going to solve their own problems by coding, by writing if this and that recipes. Like, it just blows my mind to think about that. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. One of the other things I check out, I'm taking part in, but I would also recommend checking out at WordCamp is the community bazaar. That's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I know that's only a couple times each day, but it's definitely worth swinging by. Really. Yeah, it's good. It's definitely worth swinging by and just hearing what the other communities around the world, around the U.S. and around the world, have to say, right? Because every community has its own little nuances and differences, and I'm looking forward to taking part in that, having interesting conversations.
Yeah, I know Laura and Steve, you guys have done the same thing, but like I was, lucky enough to really go all around the country and hit some of the bigger communities. Steve, when I came to WordCamp OC and saw that community, I was just in love. I was like, this is fantastic. This is what I want my community to be like. And so it is. It's really cool to learn about kind of the different, you're right, it's the nuances, right? Like you guys do the golf beforehand, which I think is so cool. And, other places, Boston does second day. They do a sponsor speaker brunch, and they always do that. Like these little things that they do are just so fun. I love to know them and kind of be a part of it. Right?
Yeah. No, it's cool. Yeah. I think it's also good for people who have like local meetups and stuff, and they want to know how they can kind of like rejuvenate a meetup or get some ideas. I think it's a great some tips on that kind of thing.
The interesting thing about golf, Dustin, is part of our community also is now the Women Who WP, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they identified that not everybody plays golf, right? And it appeals to a certain type of person. So they have another event that they started this past year, which is go-karting. So while the golf tournament is going on, there's also a go-karting event at the same time. So we're planning on just doing lots of team building things on the Friday before our WordCamp.
That's awesome. See, I wish every WordCamp did something like that, other than just hey, let's come and eat dinner. Like that. That's nice. It's really nice.
It's
but it's I learned so much about different folks at the golf thing and at the, like I said, the brunch with Boston. Like it's really cool. So
awesome. I would just say after party too. We should probably give that.
I was going to say
after party. Yeah, we're all on the same page, right? Okay. Because I keep looking at that place, and I'm like, that people are like, so can we still go into this or do that? And I'm like, unless like prohibitive, because we're gonna have to call the fire department and get you out because like an adult human can't fit there. And everything. And please don't just call the fire department. We don't want to do that. But
So I have to tell you something funny. Randy, told us last week that we're as volunteers, we're all working the after party, which is cool. That's fine, right? We're all going to have different shifts, and we're going to be scattered around the after party. So I immediately got on Slack and I said to Randy, I said, assign me to the karaoke room. He said, get in line, man. He said, you're about the fourth person that's asked. And I said, I did it right away, man.
Right? I'll say with after party tips, so there's a couple of things that are like special that usually if you just visited the Science Center, you would have to pay for that are open to all of us. So the planetarium, so get in line for that.
Awesome.
Yep. There's the new virtual reality exhibit. So it's like a multi-person virtual reality thing. Get in line for that. And then there's the there's like a flight simulator that's like a whole one that goes like.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so get in line for that.
Sorry, how's it go again?
One of these. You've never flown a plane before. This is how it works.
You'll need those skills when it comes down to putting your daughter in a snowsuit. Just letting you know those skills are coming in handy.
Oh, I bet. So yeah, there's a couple of things, and of course karaoke. Obviously, there's a line for volunteering to work it, so there's definitely gonna be a line to sing. So just kind of plan a little strategy. stop at a bar, get in one of those lines, maybe grab an appetizer. But yeah, get a game plan. It'll be worth it.
And the planetarium, it's not just like one show, right? Isn't it like 4 shows or something too, on a rotation?
The planetarium, they're doing one special show just for Nashville, but they're doing it over and over and over and over so that in actuality, if everybody wanted to see it, they could, if everybody got in line at the right time and, that stuff. So
which, like, however long it lasts or whatever.
Yeah,
got it.
Exactly.
Cool.
And then, do come back on Sunday because Contributor Day needs contributors, right? So, and you don't have to be a coder to participate in Contributor Day. There's plenty of roles for anybody that wants to get involved. So Contributor Day is always important and a good way to give back to the WordPress team.
And you get a good lunch.
You do. And I think that's it. Unless there's any other tips, I think we'll end there. That was our final show. And normally at this point in the show, we tease what's coming next. So what's coming next?
WordCamp US.
WordCamp US.
Buy your tickets, guys. Get the ticket.
Do not wait. Do not wait. Now is the time to get a ticket. So get them while they're still available. And we will see you all in 2 weeks in Nashville.
Fantastic. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving.
All right. See ya.